Yay! Hello and welcome back to the WHL show. Sorry that we ended up going live a little bit later than anticipated. There were a lot of technical difficulties on my end. My Wi-Fi was not cooperating. But we are here. I'm wearing the Hawaiian Dad t-shirt. I feel like it's a vibe. I am joined here with our co-host Tanner Walker. Adrien is not available again this week, but he will hopefully be back soon, and we'll have a full crew. But for now, it's just me and Tanner bringing you all the live news and all that fun stuff. This week, Edmonton Oil Kings fans and Portland Winterhawks fans should be excited because we had on a very special guest, Josh Mori, who currently plays for the Edmonton Oil Kings and was a treasurer for the Winterhawks when he was here in Portland. Joins me this week to chat his time in the WHL and everything him and hockey and all that fun stuff. So stay tuned for that interview later on. I kind of always give this disclaimer, but just another disclaimer is that my tech, I need to upgrade like desperately. So like throughout both today's episode and just like the interview that you hear with me and Josh later, there are just some like my mic there were issues and there's always issues with my camera. I just need to get like a full like setup. I need to commit to it. So appreciate you guys for being so patient and understanding as we work these difficulties out. We have a great episode this week, Tanner and I. For you guys, we're going to be talking about our normal stuff that we always do with our Player of the Week recaps, as well as standings, so that way everybody can stay up to date on who's doing great in the league, which teams are leading both conferences. Again, Tanner is in the Eastern Conference and I am located in the West, so we get to have those dual perspectives on the teams there, which is really fun. And we're going to go into player stats and everything, our player leaders, and then we'll bring on Josh, and we'll close out the episode with, as we usually do, with little outro and all that fun stuff. So first, I'm going to have Tan start off with our player of the week, and then I'll go into our goalie of the week. So Tan, if you want to tell us who our player of the week is.
Alrighty. The player of the week announced this morning was Grayson Souchin of the Edmonton Oil Kings. Honestly, I did not know he was a Panthers prospect somehow. I just forgot that, I guess. But this week he had 4 goals, 4 assists, and a +7 rating in 2 games. So that's kind of ridiculous. He's having a career best season with the Oil Kings with 18 goals and 24 assists for 42 points and a +15 rating across 27 games. He's leading Edmonton in all 4 categories and is tied for 3rd among all WHL skaters in game-winning goals with 5. So he's had a week.
Fun week. Our goalie of the week is Jackson Unger, who no longer plays for the Moose Jaw Warriors. He was in that fun trade that we talked about last week. I think it was last week. He is now with the Lethbridge Hurricanes. So he was named goalie of the week after he had a perfect 3.000 record and a 1.00 goals against average and a .950 save percentage, which is crazy. He was also in 2023 and 2024 season, he was the goaltender of the year nominee and is currently undefeated with his time with the Hurricanes. He's played 5 games with them and has a .500 record. And overall with the Hurricanes has a 1.80 goals against average and a .922 save percentage since being with the team. He was traded to the Hurricanes from Moose Jaw on December 2nd. So we probably chatted about that last week. Mm-hmm. And so he's had a really great start with his in that trade. It seems like it's been benefiting both him and the team, his new team, very well. And who is our rookie of the week?
The rookie of the week is Keaton. I hope I'm not going to butcher this. Verhoef. Hey, if I butchered it, sorry. He had 2 goals, 2 assists, and a +5 rating and a pair of wins over the Vancouver Giants. And this season, he has 12 goals and 11 assists for 23 points in 27 games, which is pretty good numbers for a rookie player and a defenseman too. So he ranks 2nd on his team in goals and leads all rookie defensemen in goals. and is 4th in points amongst all WHL rookies. So.
Nice. I also, sorry if you see me fidgeting a lot. I'm like looking around for a hairband. My hair is driving me crazy. So, just like, I just need to chop it all off. And it's been a mullet for a while. I feel like I've lived out my mullet era. And it's time for a change. So now we're going into our standings. We'll have Daniel go right into that, but this is our quick little recap of who our top 3 in each conference is. We list the how many points they're at right now, and then their last games over the past week and how they fared against the various teams. So, Tan, if you want to take it away with who is leading the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, a little bit of a change this week after it's been pretty consistent the whole season so far, I think. So in first place now is Medicine Hat with 39 points and a record of 19-14, 1-0, which they're scary. But on December 10th, they had a 6-4 win versus the Blades, and the 13th, a 5-1 win versus the Warriors, 14th, 3-2 win versus the Hurricanes, and on the 15th was their first loss of the week, and it was 4-1 versus the Hurricanes, who also get a shout out this week. Second place, Saskatoon dropped down with 38 points, which they also had 38 points last week, so nothing changed there. They've had a tough week, I'll say that much, with 4 losses, 6-4 versus the Tigers on the 10th, 2-1 versus the Hurricanes on the 11th, 4-3 versus the Pats on the 13th, and 4-2 versus the Wheat Kings on the 15th. So tough, but I mean, considering they're still second place in the conference, I will take that as a win, and I think everyone could take that as a win or just luck, but hey. And in third place, it is now the Lethbridge Hurricanes have shot up, and they have 36 points with their record of 17-11, 1-1. And on the 11th, they had a 2-1 win against the Blades, and the 13th, 4-1 versus the Rebels. On the 14th, they lost 3-2 to the Tigers, but then the next day beat them 4-1. So that's new. I think it's been the same 3 all season. So it is fun to see more teams switching spots a little bit.
Yeah.
Something new to report on.
For the Western Conference, it's actually the same. Last week we had a lot of we had a lot of movement. It was like Tri-City and Spokane, and Everett, of course, and Prince George. They were all just kind of, Everett was staying solid for number 1, but number 2, 3, and honestly the 4th place was also fluctuating quite a bit. This week, however, at least the top 3, first 1, 2, and 3 are the same as it was last week. This week, Everett is number 1 overall with 53 points. Last week, they had 51. Their last few games, they played 3 games over the past week. Their first one was on December 11th. It was a 4-3 loss versus the Portland Winterhawks. On December 13th, they had a 3-2 loss versus the Wenatchee Wild, and then closed out the week with a 4-1 win over the Tri-City Americans on December 14th. And then second place, just as it was last week, it was Prince George, the Prince George Cougars. Last week, they had 35 points. This week, they have 39. Their first game last week was a 4-3 win over the Tri-City Americans on December 11th. And then on December 13th, they had a 4-1 loss versus the Portland Winterhawks. And then on December 14th, they closed out their week with a win. It was a 3-1 win over the Spokane Chiefs. The third place team is actually our Spokane Chiefs with a 44 points this week. Last week, they had 42. They only played 2 games last week. They had a 4-3 win over the Seattle Thunderbirds on December 13th. And then on December 14th, just as we just talked about with the Prince George Cougars, they had a 3-1 loss versus Prince George on the 14th. Yeah. So for player stats, Tan, if you want to talk about our players, who's leading and who was leading, and then I will talk about our goalies. And then we'll go ahead and we're going to bring on our super great guest. So go ahead and talk about our player stats and our league leader.
first off, we got the points, and I think it's kind of amusing because first place is still Gavin McKenna, who, as we all know, is away right now doing all of the World Juniors stuff. It's still holding first place with 60 points, which is unchanged from last week.
Mm-hmm.
And second, we have Andrew Crystal, who also was second last week with 51 points, and he has 52 now, which makes sense, just getting back from the selection camp. And in third is Tyler McKenzie, who was not in the top 3 last week, so he's popped up with 49 points. And for goals, also not a lot changing in first place with Shea Van Olm, who had 26 goals, and he still has 26 goals, but is holding that top spot. And Tyler McKenzie has moved up one with 1 goal this week, and he's gone up from 23 to 24. And alternatively, Cameron Schmidt has gone down 1, and he has 24 goals, and he had 24 last week. So that's not a lot changing in that leaderboard there. But and in assists also still is Gavin McKenna in top with 41 assists, and a new top 3 is Tyson Jugnoth of Portland with 34 points. And then Berkeley Catton has gone down to third place with 33 assists, and that also is the same. So a little bit of a slow week in that department, but
yeah, absolutely. For our goalies, our top goalie in goals against average is the same as it was last week. It was Jesse Sanch of the Everett Silvertips. Last week, he had a 2.15 goals against average. This week, he has a 2.21. This week, in our second place for goalies for our goals against average, they new to our top 3 this week is Alex Worthington. He has a 2.76 goals against average. And then our third place in GAA is Ethan Eskett. Last week, he was second place. This week, he's dropped down to third. Last week he had a 2.65, and this week he has a 2.79. For save percentage, Carson Bjarnason, who was third place last week with a 0.913, is actually in first place. He still has that 0.913 save percentage, so that hasn't changed. Jesse Sanch of the Everett Silvertips is who was in first last week is in second this week with a 0.912. Last week he had a 0.915 and was in first. And then this week, Alex Worthington, who again was in, he is new to the top 3 this week. He has a 0.910 and is holding down that number 3 spot. When it comes to wins for goalies, Dawson Cowan of the Spokane Chiefs is in first place with 17. Last week he had 16 and was in first as well. Lucas Mateka is with the Tri-City Americans. He was with in second with 15. Last week he was in second with 14. And then Joshua Ravensbergen, who was last week in third place as well. He had 14, and this week he has 15. Yay. So that pretty much goes over our league leaders and stuff. We're going to chat a little bit about news because there were a couple trades. That was a couple trades and a couple acquirings of different players from around the league. We saw a trade between the Raiders and the Rebels involving forwards Evan Smith and Cole Pearden. Let me open this up. We have these articles linked so we can make sure we get the right info. So yeah, the Cole Pearden and Evan Smith were swapped. And Smith, who is from Kamloops, is in his second WHL season. Pearden is in his third WHL season. He was a first-round pick by the Raiders in 2021. And so they are swapping places there. And then we have a fun trade where the Tigers reacquired Zach Sahara from the Wenatchee Wild. The Western Wild, new team just dropped. From the Wenatchee Wild. So goalie Zach Sahara actually returned to the team. He was drafted by the Tigers and was traded to the Wenatchee Wild at the beginning of this season, but was traded back to Moose Jaw. What? Sorry. Traded back to Medicine Hat. After just a couple months, he was with the Wild. He appeared in 10 games, had a .884 save percentage and a 4.05 goals against average, and won 3 games. And he is now back and was exchanged for only a 2027 fourth round pick that was from Moose Jaw. So a lot of like little moving parts there, but he is back from the Wild, which I always find the reacquiring is quite interesting because it's like you're just bouncing back. And then Tan, if you want to talk about our last 2 little newsworthy things that we've jotted down here.
Sure, let me get this open. The Pats are still making moves. I feel like the only team that we're really seeing doing anything ever is the Pats, but
anything ever.
They acquired Matthew Perange from Medicine Hat who also come up a lot in trades these days. Oh man, can we please figure this out? Okay, he was also exchanged for a 3rd round pick in 2025 and a 4th round pick in 2028. So It does make sense. The Pats are trying to get as many players as they can now after trading away.
They're like
so many. So that is that is good. Good for them. And our other little news is the WHL players picked to represent Canada at the World Juniors this year. Or technically next year, but
this time around.
This season. And that's Tanner Molendyke from the Blades, Braden Yeager from the it says Warriors here, but not the Warriors.
He was not the Warriors anymore.
Gavin McKenna, who still leading all the scoring in the WHL
without even being there, which is just amazing.
Yeah, and I guess same for Bjarnason, who's got and he's also he's out there. Caden Price from Kelowna, and Sawyer Minio from Seattle. Nice. And Berkeley Catton from Spokane, and Tanner Howe now of the Calgary Hitmen.
Yeah.
I've seen so much discourse about all of the cuts and the decisions made.
A lot. I do like the list that we've got, but I can totally understand that, like, why didn't this player make it? Why did this player? Like there's a lot, like the skill level of these kids is just so insane. Like,
it's crazy.
It's tough. So they've already got a lot to choose from. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and segue into our fun. What I bet a lot of you were waiting for is our interview with Josh Mori of the Edmonton Oil Kings, formerly the Portland Winterhawks. I'm gonna go ahead and show that to you guys now. This interview was really great. I really appreciated Josh's time. He was a fantastic interview and gave me a lot. So feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Again, as I said earlier, I give this disclaimer every episode, but I did have some audio issues. So if you hear that, and also my headphones died like halfway through the interview, so I just kind of like chucked them off into the side and then like never acknowledged it. So little things here and there. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and bring him on, and hope you guys enjoy. You were with the Winterhawks for most of your career, and then joining the Edmonton Oil Kings at the start of this season, and then also being named alternate captain. Can you tell me a little bit about how that's been going into a new team that's also in the Eastern Division rather than the Eastern Conference rather than the Western?
Yeah, it's a new experience, and at first it's obviously kind of difficult because you're playing teams that you haven't really played before a ton, and just going into a new group, there's always a little bit of nerves just because you're getting to know new guys, and you're used, like myself, I'm used to coming back to the same locker room with the same people, same coaches, same system and everything. So it's an adjustment to learn all the new things that are going on here. But Luke Pierce, our head coach, was really good about just telling me to kind of play my game, and then he'll help me through all the system things as the games go on. So that really helped me to just kind of relax a little bit and, know that I can make a couple mistakes, and then he can help me out, and I can just stick to my game. And then, coming from Portland, 3 years there, I've experienced a lot of leaders like Gabe Clausen, captain twice, Clay Hannes, Kozak, Hannes, guy like that was my age, Chazowski. He was always a great leader. There's a ton of great guys and great leaders over there that I could really learn from. And I'm just trying to my best ability just to bring the kind of things that I've learned from them into this locker room. And of course, Portland has a great culture and they've always done really well and, making the playoffs a ton. So just trying to bring that sort of leadership and experience that I've had there into Edmonton and hopefully help us succeed and bring us to the playoffs this year.
That's amazing. I know that you guys, the Oil Kings, were just recently in Portland a couple months ago. How was that like homecoming for you?
It was really special. I loved it. I mean, it's something that is a unique experience, I think. Getting traded somewhere and then being able to come back and play there. Especially, I got pretty lucky. Like, we could have went to the BC and I would have never gone back. They could have came to us, which would have been a different, obviously, feel. But, going back to Portland, the rink that I've played in for a long time, seeing my old billets and then warming up on the other side of the ice was a little bit weird. And being in Portland, not staying in my billet house, being in a hotel, like, it's all different. But it was really exciting. And I was super happy to come back and see all the coaches. Kyle Gustafson, he came up to me before the game and we had a little chat, which was nice. And I know they have a couple new coaches there and equipment manager. So it was unfortunate I wasn't able to see the coaches I had last year in the equipment manager, but I saw some of the, the staff and the office people, which was awesome because they're always great to me and super nice. And then, of course, to look across the ice, I think I stood at the red line for a couple minutes taking photos. But it's super cool and just really special. And then to play against them, I think I had a little bit of advantage because I know what they were going to do a bit. But no, it was really fun and cool to play against close friends like that. And then to be able to see them after the game was really special too. Like I've said, a lot of those guys I'm really, really close with, and I've really kind of grown up and matured as a person with them. And so it was just really special to see them. And it was unfortunate we had a quick turnaround and had to leave the next day. It would have been nice if we had a day to maybe spend some time with them, but I'm sure I'll see them in the summer and everything. So yeah, it was an experience.
Yeah, that's great. Did you get to talk to the guys, like any like chance outside of just that like couple pictures for the red line, or did you just not really get to spend a lot of time with them?
Yeah, after the game, I got to meet up with a bunch of the guys.
That's good.
And talk to them. So that was really nice. But after that, I wasn't really able to see them too much. So which kind of was unfortunate, but I was glad to just be able to see them for a little bit and talk and chat with them.
One of the things that I think is interesting is that when in Portland, when they had that like shortened bench a little bit and you had to play out a bit more and flex into like a left wing or a forward position. Instead of the usual defense. How do you feel like has that affected your game at all, or like even like how you play as a defenseman?
I honestly I saw it as an opportunity. It was just a chance to play, and I'm not going to complain about where I'll play and all those kind of things. If need be, I need to play forward or center or winger, like I can do it, and I think I have the knowledge and watched a lot of hockey to understand those positions and everything. But I think it helped my game. I was able to understand better, wingers on the wall and the pressure of trying to pick up a puck off the wall with a D-man closing in on you or on top of you. And in the offensive zone, there isn't that much time and space for them down low and for them to see plays that are low to high passes and all those kind of things. So it opened my eyes and gave me a different perspective, especially in defending too. I know what can be maybe a little bit difficult for a forward, having been in those positions, and on breakouts, I have a little bit of a better idea where like the forwards will be because of that experience that I got to have. So it was just sometimes those things happen, injuries happen. It's the only way you can kind of get into the lineup. And if you're in the lineup, you just try to make the biggest difference that you can, no matter where you are.
I love that. I love the versatility there. And for those who maybe don't pay attention to the Oil Kings as much as they do, or those Western Conference fans, there's a two-parter question here. First one is, can you describe, I mean, you kind of did a little bit, but can you describe your game and what you look like on the ice?
Yeah, I would say I'm just a two-way puck moving defenseman. I think I defend well, and I'm not a bigger body, but I try to play aggressive down low and be a little bit mean, even though I'm not 6'4", but I try to have that intimidation. And I think I just try to play with like a good stick, and I think I'm a pretty good skater, so I just try to use my feet to help me get out of situations. And maybe once, twice in a game, you lug the puck down the ice if I can, and then in the offensive zone, just trying to create opportunities from the blue line, if it's just getting a shot through or getting the puck down or maybe making a move and opening up a lane. I think that those kind of things are being a little bit added more into my game as I play. But yeah, I would just say kind of a two-way defenseman who tries to do a little bit of everything and in all parts of the zone.
That's amazing. And for overall at the team, for the Oil King, just give me a quick snapshot of what you guys look like. So like star players, leaders on and off the ice, general vibes, etc.
Yeah, I think we got a great group. I've loved the guys here. They've been really welcoming with myself into the team, which is, makes it a lot easier to get comfortable. And we had our Secret Santa today, which is always fun.
Fun.
We do those team activities and all those kind of things. And yeah, I mean, as a group, we got a great group. Guys are great. It's pretty simple, I think, as you can get from answers that you would ask about a team. It's just like everyone kind of, we're there for each other and we're there to help each other out, and we enjoy spending time together and all those kind of things. And then as a team, I think we have some great depth on the offensive end, and as well as our D, and some great goaltending. So I think really we have a great overall team. And then we are just trying to combine all that onto the ice in the offensive zone, trying to possess the puck and make plays, and same thing in the neutral zone, and then the defensive zone, trying our best to know our abilities, and we have skill in our team, but having to still defend hard in our zone and understand the responsibilities that it takes to, if you want to play offense, you got to play a little defense. So doing those important things. And then, yeah, so.
Tell me that story of how you started playing hockey and that like figure skating aspect that you mentioned a little bit. Tell me that story.
Yeah. My sister, I have two older sisters. The one that's like in the middle, I guess, or just like a couple or 3 years older than I am. She would do figure skating and all those kind of things, and my dad said I would just try to run onto the ice with her or follow her, and so he decided if I'm gonna do it, like, he'll sign me up. So he signed me up for figure skating or just like skating lessons. But I wasn't too interested in doing that. I found more interest in drawing with the markers on the ice and just sitting there. So my dad wasn't too happy. He was paying for skating lessons and I wasn't doing anything. So he put me in try hockey, just like a program where they give you gear and everything for kids to try. And I just sat in front of the net and I would whack pucks in the net. And of course, that's a fun thing to do. So I told my dad I loved it. And then signed me up for more hockey, and then kind of just put me down that path. We went to Canucks games, and I remember watching and just loving like all parts of the game. It was just like exciting, and I remember every time I watched, it was like, oh man, I want to go play hockey right now. But it was my bedtime, so I'm involved with the game and excited to play. So yeah, that was kind of how I started, and then just continued on the love from there.
Were there any players on the Canucks that like really stood out to you as like, I want to play like them someday?
Yeah, I would say Dan Hamhuis. He was my guy. I just because number 2 left defenseman, I was like, oh, we're like the same. And then watching him play, he was such a great defender and contributed offensively from here and there. But he was just really good at doing his job and throwing some big hits, some nice hip checks. So I like that. So yeah, he was my favorite to watch growing up.
Earlier we were talking about your versatility and flexing into like a forward position rather than defense. Have you ever considered playing goalie or tried playing goalie?
The funny story, like my first year, when we came back for Christmas, our backup goalie had gotten COVID. And so we only had one goalie for the game. And we needed someone to play backup. And I was a little too shy to tell him, I played a little bit goalie when I was younger and all those kind of things. So I was never in that position, and we had picked someone else. But I don't know if the opportunity ever came, I wouldn't mind trying. I don't know how well I would do. I think I would do okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought it would have been really cool in 1 year to play defense, forward, and goalie for a team. I don't think that's probably ever been done. So I was like kind of excited, and maybe I could get that opportunity. But no, I haven't had that kind of come up for anything. But I would try for sure. But I don't think I would stay there.
That's
I
totally
would,
fair.
after a couple games, I'd be like, okay, let's get a new guy in there.
And like that's another thing is that the game as a goalie is so different than
Oh yeah, for sure.
as
It's a lot.
skater.
A lot more thinking, and you gotta be a lot more engaged, and you're
like
always standing. You don't get to sit down ever, so it's like that's gotta be tiring.
Yeah. So with do the Oil Kings have individual goal songs, or is it just kind of one overall?
No, we just have one goal song.
Gotcha. What would you have as your goal
I
song?
tell you what it is, but I know we have just one.
That's funny. If you could pick one to be your own, though, which one would you pick?
I was gonna pick the what's it called? It's like Live is Life or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I don't even want to try to sing it, but it's like I don't even explain it. There's a video of I can't remember the soccer player who's like juggling. He's really good, really famous. I should know his name, but I can't think of it right now. But there's a video of him and it plays that song, and he's like juggling the ball and getting ready for warm-ups, and it's just a fun song. I think fans could get into it. Unfortunately, we don't get a pick, but if I had to, it'd probably be that. I think it's called Live or Life or Life is Live or something.
Okay, cool. When you joined the Oil Kings, who was the most welcoming to you? Who helps like really kind of welcome you to the team?
I think one guy was Ethan McKenzie for sure.
Yeah.
Just a fellow D-man. I think our games are honestly really, really comparable. I think as people we're also very comparable. So it was pretty easy to get to know him and become friends with him. And he's been a great guy and has been there for me for a lot of the ways. I think another guy would probably be the Woodward on our team. He's my roommate. So initially, obviously, we became friends right away just because living together, you got to create that bond, obviously. But yeah, I think those guys and I don't know. There's a ton, like I could say Reese Peterson too, and obviously a lot of the D-man, like they all kind of welcomed me, and obviously I sit beside all of them in the room, so it's easy to get connections with them right away and those kind of things, and even on the forwards, like so many guys, like Cole Miller and Hodnett, like they all kind of made me feel welcome. I don't know if it was just one singular person. It was kind of just like a group thing where it was pretty easy to just integrate myself and be myself around them.
Who on the team would you consider underrated? Like who maybe is doing really well but is not getting enough like recognition for it?
Yeah. I would honestly say Mackenzie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really see much stuff online or through social media about him, but I mean, I think he's a great player. He moves the puck really well. He's a great skater, up and down the ice. Smart defender. He plays really hard and cares a lot. Like he's just a guy that's pretty admirable and you can look up to as a younger player, especially to see the work that he puts in. But I think he's one guy that's pretty underrated, not talked about.
Are you a superstitious player? Like, do you have any like rituals that you got to follow on game days?
I am pretty superstitious. My game days I try to make them the same as possible to an extent where it could be not good, but I mean, my days are pretty much the same. I try to eat the same pregame meal I always do a chicken, rice with Greek salad, and I eat it in the order of Greek salad, then rice, then chicken. I try to nap for an hour and a half, and then I get up. I always got to like have a cold shower, put my dress clothes on. It's always got to be my dress shirt, then my pants, then my belt, then my tie, and then my jacket, and then I can't put my shoes on until I leave. So I have a ton of like just little things. Like I leave at like 1, or if it's a 7:00 game, I would leave at like 4:05. I always try to leave at 5. I don't know why, but it's just I have all these like little kind of dumb things that I do. Like after the first intermission, I like to take all my gear off. And then sometimes I'll jump on the spin bike if I feel like I need a little more juice or energy. And then that one's like it's superstitious, but I just like the repeat of like putting my gear on. It's like, okay, I'm getting ready for a game again, and just like that mindset. But yeah, no, I definitely have some things that are just like just a little crazy.
No, I totally relate. And oh my gosh, that's so fun. Like I play beer league hockey, man. Like I don't have like our intermissions are like 2 minutes long, so I don't even
yeah.
I don't have that, but I can relate to the pregame rituals for sure.
Yeah.
Like I don't like the stakes could not be lower for me, but but
it's nice to have that comfortability and routine.
Oh, exactly.
Like, you know, like the thing about it is I try to feel as in control as I can about the things that I do and make sure I'm ready for the game and prepared. So it's kind of just making sure that at the end of the day, when I step on the ice, it's, you know, I'm prepared. I did what I needed to do and let my game kind of just go from there.
100%. Yeah, exactly. Control what you can control and don't worry about what you can't.
Yeah.
If you weren't playing hockey, what would you want to do with your life? And don't say another athlete or another sport, because that's what people always answer.
Oh, that's so tough.
Something else.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good question. I mean, in Portland, I don't have it here, but in Portland, I was trying to learn the guitar a little bit because I needed a hobby outside of hockey. So I was playing the guitar for a bit, and it's super fun. I wasn't great at it, but it's one of those things where it's just like I just like try, and like if I'm not good at it, I don't really care. I just keep trying to get better at it. So I think like I don't know, being like an artist, I think would be really cool. And like I've gone to like Luke Combs concert and like Tyler Childers, and Jordan Davis, and like those concerts are so fun. So I can't imagine like being an artist with like a sold out crowd watching you screaming your songs, and I think that would be really fun. So I don't know. I think I'd try to be an artist. I can't sing or play guitar, but if I could, I would.
I mean, I feel like anybody can sing. You just need a vocal coach, like
That's true.
You could learn. Are you a Spotify or an Apple Music guy?
I'm Apple Music.
Really?
Yeah.
Who I know that they do like a similar thing to Spotify Rap. So who is like your top 5 for top 3 even? You know, if you're artist this year.
Let me look right now. I can find it quickly. I know Post Malone's up there because of his new like album, like his country album. My top 5 was Post Malone, Zach Bryan, Luke Combs, Noah Kahan, and Morgan Wallen.
Noah Kahan, I love Noah Kahan.
Yeah, he's great.
What would you say would be like your song of the year? Like maybe just like either the top most like listened to, or just like one that kind of the year, something like that.
Yeah, that's hard. My music taste. I know my top 5 are all country singers, but my music taste is very like broad. Like I'll listen to whatever.
Yeah.
But song of the year. I don't even know. I think like the Post Malone album like was really good. I really liked it. Like I listened to it probably like 10 times on my drive up to Edmonton. So I'd put his album just up there for sure.
That works. Absolutely. And on the topic of music, I don't know if y'all have like a designated locker room music guy, but who would you say is like the best locker room music on the team?
So our locker room music guy is Rowan Woodward.
Okay.
He's okay. You know, he plays more rap, which isn't my kind of style. For the best music though, I don't know who would have the best. He's the one, he runs it all the time, so it's hard to know. But like personally, I'm more of just like I like listening to country just in the room and before practices, just getting that kind of like chill vibe.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, he runs our music and he does an okay job at it.
No, just okay. Is there anybody who you like wouldn't trust at all with the aux? Like you're just like, don't give it to them?
Probably the 15, 16-year-old on their team, Josh Lee.
Yeah.
Sit beside him, and the music I've heard him listen to is like I don't want him to play any of it. So
you know what kind of music he listens to, or like what kind of genre?
I don't even know what it is. Like it's so random. I just know that I don't want to hear it.
For the Oil Kings.
Yeah.
If you were stranded on a deserted island, which teammate would be able to pick you survive?
Probably either Reese Peterson, because he's a pretty smart guy. He knows, like, he's also a strong guy, so he could probably do some heavy lifting for me. But or Parker Alcos. I know he does a lot of like hiking and those kind of things in the summer. So I think those guys would be pretty crafty, know what they're doing out there in the wild. So
Is there anybody, who would you, on the flip side of that, I guess, who would you like pick? Who would you not pick? Like, who would
Yeah.
get you killed?
probably Josh Lee.
Yeah.
Definitely him.
It's like if his music is with us, it's even worse.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to listen to him sing. So
Who would you want with you on a 2-on-1?
oh, I probably Sachin.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, probably him. He would know what to do. I would just kind of tell him to take it, and then I'd say use me as a decoy or something.
If you could swap positions with another teammate for a game, who would it be?
Probably one of our centermen. Like in my second year, I played a little bit of center, but it's kind of a cool role. You're like a little bit more responsible for the 200-foot game, and you have to be there in your zone and support your D-man with passes out the zone. But I also think there's an opportunity there to have a little bit of fun on the offensive side, especially as a forward. You know, you get to play in the offensive zone more, and you get to have the puck more in the offensive zone rather than a D, obviously. So I think someone in center in that position would be someone I would switch with. Not the goalie for sure, though. I don't want to be standing for 60 minutes.
Gosh, yeah. Basically, my last question for you. Usually, I only ask one, but since you were so beloved by the Winterhawks fans, I'm going to ask you for two here. So the first part is, what is the message you have for Winterhawks fans?
Yeah. I would like obviously a big thank you. They were always great, and the crowds were just like always amazing in Portland, and they cheered all the time, you know, no matter what. They're always super supportive. I remember getting messages all the time about different things, cheering me on. I remember when I got my first goal, like I got so many messages about that, and it was just like it was awesome to see the support from a team and community behind, you know, a player who was I was pretty young there, and it's a big city. There's obviously a basketball team, a soccer team, and a baseball team. So there's a lot of opportunities for people not to really care about the junior team and not go. So I think it's special, the group of people that do care and go to all the games. It's, you know, they have so many other things they could do, but, you know, they decide to come to a game on a Friday night at 7:00, or even like Wednesday nights at 7:00. I know like those ones are a little bit tougher crowds, but, you know, we always appreciate had there, and especially with like the booster club, you know, they do a lot for us and give us so many opportunities, especially outside. I know they help with like the schooling and the donations for all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, just a big like thank you, and I loved my time there, and the community was amazing, and they were all, you know, I guess I should say you guys were all amazing. Like they it was just like so supportive and just so fun to play in front of all the time.
Same question, but for Oil Kings fans, what's the message you have for the Oil Kings? And
yeah, I would just say again, thank you for coming to our games. It's amazing, the support. It's a big arena, so it's still cool to see the lower bowl somewhat packed all the time, and the support from them. And when we do like the season ticket holder events, they're always so excited to see us. And sometimes you don't think about that as a player. You just think, oh, I just play hockey, but you really do have an impact on a lot of people's lives and kids' lives that is really important. So I love doing all those events and spending time with people and talking to them about anything. You know, sometimes it's the game, sometimes it's where from. You get to know people and become closer. And I would just say for Edmonton fans to just be excited for this year. I know we've had some ups and downs, but I think we're going on the right track, and we're learning as a group, and we're really striving to be better and make sure that, you know, we make the playoffs this year, and hopefully they can come out and support us for that as well. But yeah, no, they've been amazing ever since I've been there, and Especially as a new player, you'd think, oh, like they won't care and they won't know much. But, you know, people have known a lot about me and have been excited for me to come there. So, yeah, it's just been amazing and loving. So it's been awesome.
Well, thank you for chatting with me. It was fun. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Cool. I don't know. Can you hear me? Can I hear you?
I think we're good.
Okay.
I can hear everything fine.
I lost Wi-Fi with like towards the end of the interview playing, and so my entire screen, like I lost the video. And then when it came back, I didn't have any audio, so I didn't know if you guys could hear the rest of what Josh was saying. So there was a little bit cut out there. I have no idea what that looked like on y'all's end, but for my end, everything just kind of went out, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's the worst." But I got it reconnected, and I got at least the last little bit shown. So hopefully we didn't miss a lot. Apologies for anybody who saw that mishap. My Wi-Fi literally just went out, and I was like, I don't have any connections to my phone nor my computer was working for a second. I had to scramble, but I think we're good. Before we close out this episode, I just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in and for watching. We had a pretty good turnout today. It was one of our bigger audiences. And I am so willing to bet that Josh is absolutely part of that. He was such a beloved player when he was on the Winterhawks and is still adored by both Winterhawks and Oil Kings fans. So thank you very much to Josh and to the Oil Kings for collaborating with me for this episode. I really appreciate it. I had a great time chatting with him, and I hope that everybody had a great time watching. I again wanted to just thank everybody for tuning in today, and thank you for the loyal followers and listeners. Right now, I just wanted to give you guys an update on where we are numbers wise. We are still such a small show, so right now we have 23 followers on Twitter, 11 subscribers on YouTube, 10 followers on Spotify, and 6 5-star ratings on Spotify. And while those numbers are super, super low, they're also that's a person. 23 people follow us, 10 people who are following us on Spotify, and we have 6 people who have gone out of their way to rate us 5 stars on Spotify, and 11 people who have clicked that subscribe button. So those are, we really appreciate all of those, and we encourage those, you guys, if you haven't followed us on Twitter, if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube or Spotify, please hit those follow buttons, and that way the more people that follow us, the more people we have the chance to reach out to. A big part of that is the marketing on our side. There's a lot of things that I have planned and I plan to do to help increase our marketing and drive some engagement and conversions. And so that is a big thing. So thank you so much to everybody who has followed us and who tune in every week and who has rated us. The 5-star ratings on Spotify mean so much. So if you follow us on Spotify already, make sure you go ahead and give us 5-star rating. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, or if you don't follow us on Twitter, if you don't follow us on Spotify, please make sure that you hit those follow buttons. They really, really help. And thank you so much to those who have already hit those buttons and those who also tune in every week. I love putting on the show. I love sitting down with Tanner and with Adrien and sometimes by myself. And I love sitting down with the players each week. And I love bringing you guys the news and updates, and also the content of the player content, and those certain perspectives and all that fun stuff. So overall, what I'm trying to say is, if you haven't already, make sure you follow and subscribe and give us likes and ratings and all that fun stuff. And thank you so much to those who already have. And we really appreciate you and everything that you guys do. And yeah, our usernames are, you can find us everywhere for the WHL show. The username is just at the WHL show. That's on Twitter as well as YouTube. And if you type in WHL show on Spotify, we will come up. Everything is also linked on our Twitter, so make sure you follow us there, and you can follow our individual Twitters, also linked as well up there. So yeah. We will see you guys next Monday. Next week is a holiday week. We have Christmas, but we do still plan Monday. We may go live a little bit earlier that day, just because I have a team event for my hockey team. we have a late night practice that day, so we're gonna probably be going live a little earlier. So make sure again you're following our Twitter so that way you can see when we do go live. And then all the episodes are uploaded on Spotify the same night. And so yeah, thank you so much. If you guys have anybody that you want to see on the show, any specific WHL player, or even a media personality that you're like, hey, I want their perspective on WHL hockey, or like a writer that you really like and you want them you want their perspectives, or a Winterhawks, a WHL like employee or coach, or team member. If you want to see anybody on the show, basically is what I'm trying to say, please reach out to both our personal Twitters and the WHL show on Twitter and let us know, because we can't bring them on unless, I mean, we can, but we can't reach them. So thank you again to everybody watching, and we're going to go ahead and end today's episode. It was really great. Follow us and all that fun stuff. And peace out.
All the things.
And all the things. Bye-bye.